All right, y'all. Welcome back to the Who's Right podcast. And we have the first free agency domino drop. And I'm excited to get to started talking to you guys today. But before we get started, like this video, subscribe to the channel. Let me know what you think about the first domino. But let's get into it first. Josh Naylor signs a 5-year contract with, re-signs with the Seattle Mariners. They weren't playing around. It seems like Josh Naylor wanted to stay there. They wanted him back, and what do we do now, right? Because Josh Naylor was one of the guys that we thought that was going to replace Pete, and right now, obviously, that's not going to happen. I have my other plans if Pete doesn't come back to replace him. Josh Naylor wasn't the first on my list, but Josh Naylor is a better defender than Pete. He's 2 years younger than Pete. The question is, how much did he get? Because that's going to be a big determining factor on. Let me rephrase that. Because I don't think it's really going to affect Pete. I thought it. I was about to say that it would affect Pete, but to be honest with you, I don't think it's going to affect Pete because Pete's going to want to do. He's going to still want his money. Last year he held out till the end, and he didn't get the years that he wanted, but he definitely got the AAV that he wanted. He got that big contract. So, a lot of people liked Josh Naylor, and I like Josh Naylor. I like what he was able to provide, what I saw in the postseason, and a guy that can steal bases as well. But the problem with Josh Naylor was that he was a lefty, and we have enough lefties, right? And so I don't think Josh Naylor was going to be in the plans for the Mets, but I do think that it is going to be interesting what he got. I'm very curious. I'm surprised that that wasn't one of the things that came out today in the report of the 5-year contract. But I'm very curious on what he gets. I got here. A source says 5 years between 90 and $100 million. So let's say 100 million. Pete's gonna want at least 150. 5 years if he gets. Obviously he might not get the 5 years, but at least he'll be looking for a 4-year contract. But that's going to be interesting. It's really going to be interesting on what the Mets do. Obviously, for me, the first choice that I have and the first choice that I hope the Mets do is to bring Pete back. As much as we may be frustrated at times with Pete's defense and throwing to first base and all the things that come along with Pete. Um, he's still a big thumper. He's still the best guy to be hitting behind Soto. I do feel that we need to get somebody, a third hitter above Alonso. I'd love to see Lindor, Soto, somebody else, and then Pete. Keep Pete at cleanup and have somebody maybe in between Soto and Lindor, or maybe somebody after Soto, in between Soto and Alonso. But my first choice would always be to bring Pete back. But just like we saw last year, I think you need to bring in another bat. We've all been talking about it, whether it's in the Twitter X Spaces or in other people's videos. I think it's a Pete and situation. We do need to bring another bat. I don't think we can rely on Vientos. I do believe that Vientos will be traded, but I don't believe that we're going to run it back with Vientos. I know Stearns spoke, a few days ago, and at this point, a lot of what he said doesn't even really matter at this point because of the Josh Naylor signing, because that's one of the guys that was there to potentially replace Pete. But again, my first choice is to sign Pete, um, bring him back, and bring in another bat, whether that's via trade or signing another free agent. But I think we need to bring in another bat along with Pete. The funny thing is that I was going to talk about in this video is the plan that we may have had, or the plan that I would have had, you know, to bring Pete back, to not bring Pete back. But with the Josh Naylor signing, it doesn't really change my plan at all because, well, let's just get into it. My plan uh, is to bring Pete back and to bring another bat, and whether that's a Bo Bichette, I feel like a Bo Bichette, another righty bat, especially if we trade. Um, um, Vientos, I think we do need to bring another bat into the mix, especially um, with the news from Stern's press conference that Benj is going to um, be fighting for that center field job. Right? And as much as I like Benj, I don't want to expect him to rely on him to be that bat that we did, just like the Mullins. I kind of feel bad in a way for Mullins. Not really, but kind of feel bad for Mullins because all these expectations were placed on Mullins, and Mullins was never that kind of hitter. And for us to put those expectations on Mullins, it just shows the desperation that we had on looking for offense that last season. And so I don't want Bench to have those expectations, especially with us Mets fans, where we're very impatient, and I want Bench to succeed, and I think he will succeed. So I believe that we need another bat, and I think that Bichette is that bat. Um, Seeing him on basically one leg um, be clutch in the World Series, that's not anybody can do that, and I think he can come here and do that. A lot of rumors are that Cattell Marte is on the trade block, and I wouldn't mind that as well. Cattell Marte is a proven bat, switch hitter, so we don't have to worry about that right left, but and he could slide in. Both of these guys, we'll probably have to slide in Soto on number three and put Bichette and or Marte at number two, batting number two, right behind Lindor. And so I'm good with either guy. The third guy in the mix that I would at least make a phone call about, and the only guy that Soto would move out of right field for is Fernando Tatis. Now, if he's available, I'd even send a Benj back in a trade like that. In a trade like that, I send a Benj. I prefer to say, to trade away Jet Williams, but I know some people would love to trade Benj instead of Jet Williams because why would we need another outfielder? But at the end of the day, we still need a center fielder. And Jet Williams, as good as some people think that he is, I don't think that his permanent home is in center field. So yeah, that's an interesting. And the only reason I bring Fernando Tatis back is that Preller loves to make trades, and he needs to restock his farm. and they want to sell either the part of the team, or I didn't read the full article. Some of y'all can correct me, but they want to sell either the majority of the team or some of the team, and or the whole team. Whatever it is, that ownership right now is in a state of flux. And I don't think, as ownership, they're going to want AJ Preller to be spending money. So the thing is, if they don't want him to be spending money, and the wheeling and dealing might be at a minimum now, is it better to trade Tatis right now? Is it better to trade a guy that can bring you a bunch of players back? Not only would you send either a Jet Williams or a Carson Bench, but you would send pitchers along with there. Brandon Sproat, Wenninger, a whole bunch. I'm not going to get into too much of the prospect that we would send over. I Because at the end of the day, we don't know what San Diego likes. We could name out all these players, and it really doesn't matter, because what matters is what San Diego likes. I mean, they traded their top prospect, which some people say that was more valuable than getting a Mason Miller, and he traded him away. So I'm not going to sit here and talk about which guys I want to give up or don't want to give up. Obviously, there are some guys that are untouchable. And right now, the only real untouchable is Nolan McClain. Everybody else is tradable. And so that's the thing that we need to figure out is Fernando Tatis available? And if he's available, that's the guy I want to see in a Mets uniform. Second guy, if I had to rate the guys that I want to see as the second guy to after re-signing Pete, it's Fernando Tatis if he's available, Bo Bichette, um, more because of his youth versus because obviously Ketel Marte is probably the best second baseman in baseball right now. But the reason I would like a Bo Bichette more is because he's younger than Ketel Marte. Ketel is 32. I don't see him slowing down anytime soon, but it's not something that I want to see happen. Um, so it's one of those things that we want to make sure that we get the guy available. Hold on one second. I'll be right back. All right, guys. I apologize that for a second, but unfortunately, we're gonna have to cut this short. And thanks for letting me know. Let me know what you think about those opportunities, about those options. And until the next time, let's go, Mets.